The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Once again, it's just the trio of lads today. Bestie's not with us. Bestie has been set a special task by Santa himself. Bestie could actually fill in for Santa, couldn't he?
100%.
He could, couldn't he?
100%.
Without the beard, though.
But you give him a beard.
Yeah,
I'd have to wear a fake one.
I'm just getting to turn up and look like Bestie. I want to go, all right, mate?
Dude, you old fella. I've got the suit, that'll do.
Well, yeah.
Turns out these massive drink of orange that he brings here. He's like, ho, ho, ho.
Just tell them a story about all the scran that he's ate that day.
It's honking.
It's honking.
Why would I do this on the Christmas episode? So, thanks everybody that has tuned in tonight. Thank you everybody who is listening or watching back as well. Appreciate it massively. Football is back, Mark.
Thank God for that.
United is back. So you went to the, I keep calling it
final
pre-season
the World Cup.
I've been to Qatar over the weekend.
So I keep calling this the pre-season game, but it
feels like
not
it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a mid-season friendly. Which it sounds random saying that. But Mark, the team I was quite surprised at the lineup, to be honest.
Yeah, it was quite a strong one. And apparently we'd played another game behind closed doors the day before as well. So again, with that in mind, it's another pretty strong team that would have been playing in that one. So you've got to. I'm taking it as a bit of a positive that going into obviously the cup game that we've got coming up tomorrow night, and then straight back into the games on Boxing Day. That it's just trying to get the team up and running and hit the ground running and hopefully pick up where we left off.
Yeah. So Decker, you didn't actually get to see the game. I'm guessing you've seen the highlights back.
Bits and pieces. Yeah.
I
was training with Santa.
Training with Santa. Decker said he was training with Santa. But you were away at the weekend. From what you've seen of the extended highlights, were you shocked at the opposition? Because it seemed like it was more of like a behind closed door training session, if anything, because they weren't up for a challenge or anything, were they?
No, it was dreadful. What I had seen, it was very. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because you said that like it wasn't competitive. Well, it's a friendly, so it wasn't really ever going to be competitive. But I know what you mean by that. I've been to friendlies in the past, but there's still been a bit of bite there, a bit of maybe there's been lulls in the game where it really is petitionary. But that was it was like a behind closed doors game. It seemed that. But I think going back to what Mark said about the lineup and stuff like that and playing the day before, to play the intensity that we do and the style that he wants, you can't just sit around for 4 to 5 weeks running around cones and then turn up on Tuesday and play and then Saturday and play. We have to get minutes in there, to hit the ground running. So yeah, I mean it is what it is,
and it just shows you that a few of the lads that came back from international duty had only been in training for a couple of days, and they're put straight in that starting 11. And even Nick Pope hadn't even had a single training session, I believe. Then he started in goal, so that was a big shock.
I was really surprised at that.
Yeah,
him starting.
So the reason why I was shocked is it didn't.
I was shocked he took his gloves.
Ashwood. Oh God, how bad was that? How bad
was that? So I think you're gonna have to explain what people know what you mean.
I got what he was meaning by it, but our good friend Lee Ryder at the Evening Chronicle, Lee, he just does things like this, doesn't he? And he put a tweet out with a picture of Nick Pope saying Nick Pope's turned up and he's got his gloves.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
He obviously meant that he was like, oh, he's turned up with his gloves, so there's a good chance he's going to be playing.
It's cold, you know.
But to say there's a goalkeeper's came and he's got his gloves with him, it was a bit daft.
Oh, Alan St. Maximin's, yeah. He's got his boots with him.
He's got his headband and boots.
Man.
But I didn't expect him to play, and even Trippier to be honest, with them coming back from international duty, and obviously they've had a slightly longer rest than some of the guys that have been away on the international duty. But I chucked them straight back in there, and obviously just wanted to get them up and running. But
so Ashworth said though that I remember he came out, didn't he? Which I still found strange at the time, saying that they wouldn't play. The players that have been away on international won't feature in the cup game.
Did he actually say that?
Well, this is why I'm asking the question, because if that's the case, why on earth are you playing them in the friendly?
So that was a comment and a question that we had sent in. But I don't think we ever did a fact
I never went home and found out. But someone will probably know now. But someone, and I'm not making this up either. We were sitting here and someone said, "Oh, Dan Ashworth's been reported saying that the players that are away on international duty will not take part in the cup game. Hence, this is why." Jesus Christ, the name's forgiveness. The goalkeeper that we've got,
Karius.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, this may be his first competitive."
Yeah.
And
I expected that.
Even just the other day, I read that he was going to get his chance. But then when, as Ryder reported, he comes with his gloves on a friendly and he plays, then why wouldn't he play in the cup game? That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So do you think that you're probably going to see Nick Pope in that cup game?
We played the last one, didn't he?
Well, if he's playing a friendly, I would say to be honest with you. And I mean, let's be fair, right? Again, the quarterfinals, if we can get past this one, and there's not many there left in that club cup, we've got a good chance here. So,
but even looking at that, there's a couple of the big boys as such were drawn against each other as well in this round, which is coming up as well.
Yeah. Honestly, we're winning it, man.
Yeah, well, we're definitely.
Honestly, we're going.
Hold on a minute. 6 minutes in.
Well, I know we're joking about it, but it's every single time you're in the cup, then you've got a great chance of winning it. We've probably never had a stronger chance with this team.
I'll come back to that when we're playing at Wembley.
No, but I think that the question that he's saying, right, listen, I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm only joking. But what I would say though is that the point's valid. Has there in other than the Keegan era, right, or maybe a bit of the Robson, have you ever been in this frame of mind of actually, you know what it is? We actually could, because I believe in everything that's happening at the club at the minute. We could do it.
A couple of years ago, until we came up against Man City. It's home, and then obviously when it got postponed. But so you're believing then, and we had Bruce in charge. We're playing Man City. Honestly, I do. I think we've got a good chance. I think the draw's been reasonably kind to us. A home draw is always preferable. When you look at some of the teams that have been drawn against each other, there's a lot of Premier League versus Premier League teams going up against each other. So
you've got Man City.
It does open up that route a little bit more to you, doesn't it?
Us, Man City, and
Liverpool,
isn't it? Are in there. Man United and Man United are in there as well, aren't they?
Arsenal
aren't.
No,
they're out. Honestly, there's not much left.
Because
I was really shocked when the
Liverpool went to penalties, didn't it? Because we watched the end of that Liverpool game.
That's right. Yeah.
At St James's. Somebody shouts in there, and it is. Let's have a look because I've just seen it.
Just on that point though about Ashworth, was that not just because what they were saying is that we were going to give the lads that had been away to the World Cup longer off?
I think it was more of a case of a longevity sort of thing, depending on how long they had spent at the tournament. So let's say if Brazil got to the final, or even if they were playing for third spot, it's still games like less than a week ago,
Saturday and Sunday, wasn't it?
So that's probably what he's been implying, depending on how far they go in the tournament. Then
they've had at least a week off before coming back into training, and then pretty much straight back into
the likes of poor people games. I'm happy to play, mate.
Well, that was he hadn't trained. He just turned up and with his gloves and straight into the team.
Why would name this one? The Pope's got his gloves. Honestly. And what I was going to say though, it's Fish and Rods that says it, and saying everybody left that's in that draw won't want to play Newcastle United, and he's correct what he's saying. If I'm a supporter of one of those teams, one of the ones which is left, I'm praying that it's not Newcastle United that comes in there. On the current run of form that obviously we were before the World Cup break, we're talking as if we've already got through this next stage.
Well, we haven't yet. Yeah,
we haven't yet. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
But that's why I think having the friendly, last week or the week before when we were training out over in Saudi Arabia, the fact that we've had a game on Friday behind closed doors, the game on Saturday again that you talked about intensity. I think that's why Rio probably looked as bad as they did, because I don't think they were expecting us to come at them and play with the intensity that we did. Because I think
8th in La Liga,
Yeah. First half, I thought we played very, very well against them, and obviously second half things with multiple changes and stuff like that, and they picked up and that kind of thing. Eddie Howe said the same, but I just don't think they were expecting a performance like that from us in a. I was going to say pre-season friendly there, but like in a game in a break, because they probably just thought it was a
kickabout.
Well, I'm just going
and looking to get a bit of fitness in.
I'm just going to go for about 30 seconds here and go through the teams that left.
We do as well, don't we?
So,
I think Everton's still in there, aren't they?
I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you, mate. You didn't.
I was trying to get.
So we've got Wolves, Gillingham,
Wolves,
Southampton, Lincoln City,
Southampton,
Newcastle, Bournemouth,
Newcastle,
MK Dons, Leicester City.
You'd think Leicester, but there could be a shock in there, like
Charlton and Brighton. The World Cup winner's going to Charlton his next game, which is hilarious.
Nah, he's not playing.
Oh, is it? Well, he won't be on. Blackburn and Nottingham Forest.
Oh, that could be an upset.
Man United and Burnley, and then Man City, Liverpool. So obviously one of them are going. Now, hey, listen, there's not much there. Like Wolves, Southampton.
The fact that Man City, Liverpool, obviously one of those is definitely going out as well.
There's not much. And that's why I look at that and I think, do you know what it is like?
You know where I'm thinking of all these other Premier League versus Premier League ties?
The next.
The FA Cup draw was about the same time, wasn't it? That's why I wanted to read them out, because I knew
there wasn't that many Premier League teams left, really. So, yeah, honestly, it's a fantastic opportunity. But to be fair, like always, isn't it? We always sit here and go, we always go like, we'll get the final here. There's anyone left. You have to concentrate on Tuesday, right? Exactly. And that's, of course, what the players will be doing. How we'll be doing the same. It's for us to be idiots and get carried away, really. If we can get past Bournemouth, and let's be fair, right? They were difficult when we played them last time at home. We'll struggle against them.
Does it worry going into Tuesday night's game tomorrow night, and we're getting a similar performance to what we did against Palace? Because there was quite a few changes, quite a few players that hadn't played alongside each other in a long time, and it looked very flat, that performance, compared to what we're used to seeing in the Premier League. Are you worried that it might be a similar sort of a performance?
It was a similar type of team that played on Saturday, they looked good at times. I say particularly the first half.
Did they look good because we had a lot of the ball, because there was no press whatsoever from the opposition?
Quite possibly. That's the thing. You can only beat what's put in front of you. Bournemouth frustrated way in the league, and that's what you're referencing in there, Decker. Yeah. So it isn't going to be a simple walk in the park against them, but you would hope with the quality that we've got, and if we turn up and show that quality, that we'll do it. We're going to be missing a few players. I can't see Wilson playing. I think Wood's going to start up there.
I said that, and he pretty much.
Yeah, obviously Saint's got a bit of a knock again, so he needs to be assessed on that one. Bruno's not going to play, so you're probably looking at Willock, Longstaff, Joe in there. Shelby obviously played at the weekend. Miggy should play right. If you're going strong, you're gonna. And I think you're only really going to be missing probably Bruno and
Wilson.
Bruno and Wilson.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. I really do, and I think you worry a little bit about ring rust, don't you? It's been a while. I know I appreciate they've had that friendly there, but you do worry about ring rust a little bit. But listen, the professionals, I still say the confidence is sky high. And the belief, it's all about belief as well, The belief is that them will be dying for Tuesday to come. Whereas in the past, we've had games, honestly, where the players are like, oh, shite, we're at home on Wednesday. Or, in the cup and that. And they probably wouldn't even want it to happen. Whereas now it's totally different. So now they'll be excited.
Before we move on, if anybody does have any questions, send them our way. This podcast isn't going to be as long as what it normally is tonight, because we do have another show coming after this as well. We are going to pre-record a Christmas special. So we're going to be recording that straight after this one. So get your questions over as fast as you can, and we'll go through as many as possible. I thought that was stone cold behind us there with that.
Hell yeah.
If you are going to send in a question, make sure you've liked the video.
Yeah. So I just wanted to a couple of minutes.
That was very
I know.
Perverted.
Perverted like.
I just want to say thanks to Paula Empire, who became a member before we went live. So that was a nice little
thanks, Paula. Thanks very much.
Present.
Thank you.
Waiting for it. And a massive thanks to Josh Stockton, who's sent in a donation for us. Thanks very much, Josh. He says, "Hi lads, hope you're all well. Just sending a quick message to say I hope you have an awesome Christmas. Hopefully we can sort something out in the new year so I can finally join you on a pod if you still want me." Yes, Josh. So, like I've been putting in the Telegram group, we're always looking at people to help out with let's match previews and things like that. So, we'll definitely give you a shout in the new
Joe
year.
popped up in one over the weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Hi, Joe.
It was good, that one. Is it what we referencing?
Oh, he's a little short.
The short one
he
was
did.
excellent. Really good. I could never do that, me. Like, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, so
I'd be hopeless. Me like, hey, what's his name?
people that are subscribers, you'll notice that we have been pushing the likes of shorts as well. So those are going down quite well. So it's like
this isn't
60 second.
This isn't Bestie and he's reduced length trousers we're talking about. Yeah,
I don't think you should be talking about trousers.
Bestie couldn't do a short.
Bestie 60 seconds short would be easily an hour.
Easily
an hour.
Be a novel, wouldn't it?
it'd be a Christmas special, wouldn't
After
it?
he sneezed, then snorted halfway through it.
Yeah.
Right, let's go straight into the question because we've had one sent in straight away, and it is from Spoonie. That says, "Are you still as optimistic about the season as you were when we broke up for the World Cup?" He's found doubt creep in over the break.
Well, I'm interested in what them doubts might be.
Is it not just the lack of watching Newcastle? So you're like you're almost you forget how good we were at times, and then you get a little bit. Oh, was it really as good as that? Because we've had to endure the World Cup, which has been, to be in fairness to it, it's been a pretty good World Cup.
Better than I expected.
Yeah. I'd rather we hadn't have had it though, just from interrupting the whole season. But I think, not just like as we've just said there, I think if we can hit the ground running and pick up where we left off, then there's no reason why we should be worried and fearing anything, because we've shown that on our day and with the performances that we're capable of, we can run anyone.
I do agree.
Get emotional there.
Oh, always. No,
is it because we're third?
Yeah, this is what's difficult, isn't it? It's like, when you say doubts creeping in and things like that. I mean, we're sitting third there now, and you look at the form table and all that we've been doing. It's almost impossible to improve, right? It's almost impossible. It can't get really any better than what it's been.
Mm-hmm.
And that means there's a long way to fall. Like, you know,
still only one lost. Sorry, still only lost one game.
Yeah, and that, well, exactly. So, the thing that worries us a little bit is if, let's say, we play Leicester away, don't we, on the
Boxing Day.
Yeah,
it's Leicester than Leeds, the Premier League.
So let's say we're drawn. I would hope we're drawn. People straight away will point and go, the World Cup's spoiled with a little form, a little run. But, sometimes I think you have to take a little bit of a reality check of nobody expected it to be where we are now. And if we do have a little bit of a fall off, well, okay, all right, so be it. It is what it is. But to go back to what you said, I probably agree with you that, like, there's no reason why we should fear anyone. I still say, me one worry is obviously Wilson. I don't know what this injury is. I mean, obviously Southgate never used him. There was rumours that he hadn't trained really at all, to be fair. So in between games, so there's something gone on there. Maxi worries us still.
What's your thoughts on his performance at the weekend?
Well, I didn't see
as a whole.
I didn't see a whole of it. Mark's probably much better. Well, he would probably shite, but so he's much more of a. And again, I've said this word before. It's ring rust. You know what I mean? The guys hasn't played. It feels
for a long time. It feels like a lifetime.
Long time. And I'll still say the same when Isak comes back. I mean, Isak hasn't played since that Bournemouth game. In the league. I think I'm right there. Yes. I think maybe he scored in the penalty, didn't he? He missed the sitter, but I don't think he's played since. And I just think sometimes it's hard, especially. I tell you what, I think what's hard, right? And I've said this before. If you're like a Sean Longstaff style player, right? And
Easy for you to say.
I'm not. I wasn't. I'm not trying to be arsey when I say that either. But when you're just there to work hard, run around, make the odd tackle, and pass it short, and just get the ball moving, that has to be easier to come back into a team than be a Maxi or an Isak, where you have to be the game changer. You're to say to Maxi, you haven't played in so long, and now I want you to come on, be 3 players, cross the ball perfectly, and he'll score. That's a lot harder than just running back and winning the ball back. Yeah. I'm sorry, it is. It just is. So that to me, anyway, in my honest opinion,
he doesn't have to do that.
What do you want to do?
He could do the other stuff. Just keep things a bit more simple. Just easy self back in.
I want Maxi to be the explosive Maxi that we need and want. And for me, if we could have Almiron performing like he has been, and he had Maxi performing how we know he can, and Wilson's fit, we win the league. Simple as that. So
19 minutes in.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just don't worry. I'm just joking. A little bit. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Though, so yes, sorry. So to go on to Saturday. Now, I wanted to ask Mark this because it's what I seen on Twitter. Someone had said that Maxi got moved into the middle a little bit, or like through the middle. And I just wondered if that's something they might be toying with. Maybe Isak to go left when he comes back if Wilson's injury is longer.
I think he had more of a free roll at one point.
Yeah,
he was all over. All over.
He predominantly played out wide, but then he was playing out on the right. He was wandering around in the middle, and I think it was because more so probably in the second half, because there was just the amount of changes that were made on both sides and stuff like that. Just a real formation kind of went out the window. I'd hate to think we'd go back to playing Maxi through the middle because we've tried it so many times and it's never worked.
It hasn't, but if something happens to Wood, you have no other option. It has to be explored. And listen, I wasn't I wasn't there, but if Howard's tried that, even just for a little bit, maybe he's thinking of the worst. Even if Wood gets suspended or Wood does pick up a knock and Wilson's not fit, you have to put someone there.
It was a back injury. That was a rumour coming in to the restart of the season. Wood had a back injury, so he was a doubt for the pre-season, which isn't a pre-season game, for the friendly.
His penalty was really good.
Class, yeah.
I thought with Maxi though, because I watched it on NUFC TV, I thought we saw the new Maxi at times. We saw the old Maxi at times as well, where he was just trying that bit too much and losing the ball in decent areas. Overall, he had an okay game. He didn't stink the place out.
It was
impressed.
You could definitely tell he hadn't played for a while.
Yeah.
So he was 100% rusty, as you're saying. But yeah, like it. He wasn't fantastic. He wasn't poor. It was just pretty average. Yeah, just somebody that you would expect coming back in and just trying to get the fitness up, trying to get back involved with the team and that kind of thing. Yeah. And that's why I thought we probably would have then seen him on Tuesday night in the cup game. But I don't know, mate. From
slight injury,
all accounts from the presser this morning.
No, this is a problem, though, right?
It's a huge concern.
This is a problem, and you can't just have him playing one game and then getting a slight injury.
Yeah,
every single time. You can't have that. You can't. You can't have it. And
the thing is with Decker, when you've got Jacob Murphy on the other side who had another decent game as well.
He's done well this season most of the time.
Player than Saint Maximum, like far from him. But if we're looking at form, he is having a decent time, Murphy. And I'm not saying we should be starting Murphy, far from it, because I don't think he gets in that starting 11 when everybody is fit.
Well, you know what's funny, right? You know what's really funny, and football is just such a it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know, I think it might have been the Bournemouth game. I've referenced this game so much tonight, but when we played them the last time
in the Premier League Cup,
the Premier League game, and I could be wrong. Yeah, it might have been another game which we drew. And we just had no end product at all.
Yeah.
And everyone was waxing lyrical saying, I'll never criticise Maxi again. We really missed him today. And we're not doing this right. We've got no final ball, blah, 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 blah. And then we went on a run of just battering everyone. Yeah. And that's football, right? It happens. The thing for a lot of people is Murphy probably deserves to play because he's been fit, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair to the guy, when he has played, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. And you can't, you cannot. For me, Maxi would start every single day of the week, but there has to come a time where you cannot have him playing games and then being,
injured.
And I think Howard's going to start questioning, are you actually even hurt, mate? Really? Like, are you really hurt or not? It's tough,
It's not the first time you've said that.
You what, sorry?
It's not the first time you've said that.
No, listen, the reason why isn't. I know you're going to say it's just because I love him, but for me personally, there's a hell of a lot of stock in the bank for him. Like, there is, because I just feel that he's such a special player, in my opinion, and he could just be amazing.
Was that the question raised with Daniel Sturridge as well at one point, where 100%. There was people doubting his injuries 100%. And it was saying it was psychological, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And we don't know the truth yet with Saint, but he is picking up a lot of these injuries, a lot of them. 100%. And I was shocked to see him have 90 minutes. I really was, full 90 minutes. Really shocked at that.
And look, it could be nothing. It could be just the simple fact that he's played 90 minutes after being out for so long in pretty bloody cold conditions. So
I do think it's nothing. I think it could almost be just something like cramp, where he's come off and he's, you know what I mean.
But
I
Eddie
don't
Howe
think it's something
said
serious.
in his post-match interview that he wasn't showing Alan St. Maximin because he limped off the field at the end. And I was like, he limps
onto the
at
field,
every
never
game.
mind off the
I was
field.
just about to say that is the problem, though, isn't it? The problem is that because he's limping for during the game all the time, he's typecasted now of like, oh, here we go again. Because listen, the amount of times he's limped and not come off.
To be fair, Decker, as well, in that game, because you wouldn't have seen this in the highlights, he got absolutely smashed a number of times where people were just going in at him.
Yeah, but they will, and he deserves that sometimes because he keeps hold of the ball all the time.
It's probably one of those games where you're just battered and bruised by the end of it.
Yeah,
that's probably what it is.
And I think he will be fine. It's just one to keep an eye on. But I still say, if you can have him fully fit, man, on that side, and Almiron performing like he has been.
So do you think he'll start
on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, because I think he will.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
If the injury's not as bad as, or isn't bad,
just doesn't have one,
then yeah, I would imagine he would probably look to start him and give him a.
To be fair, and I know I said that I was shocked to see him get 90 minutes, but I'm glad he did because he needed it. 100%. He needed those minutes under his belt, and he's got them now. Yeah. So going into the cup game, he's not coming out with a cold as such. He's actually just had minutes under his belt. So
he can't be cold while them bloody bandages on. He's got that many layers. He'll be roasting. That's why I was surprised he was so stiff. Maybe it's just the sweat in his bandages.
That must be something to do with muscles, wasn't it? It has to be.
Will be.
Has to be.
It will be, yeah. Because I still say, like to him, when he's a standing start, Almiron, I always worry for Almiron getting injuries like that because he's just from a standing start, away. You know what I mean? And I always worry that them will go. When I used to go back in the day, Bellamy, every time Bellamy used to run, sprint, I was like, oh, hope he's Harry, because I loved him. I absolutely love Bellamy. But I used to think, Christ, his hamstring's going to pop or something.
So there's another couple of questions on based on looking at tomorrow's game against how many times? Bournemouth. Jesus, how many times we mentioned it that much? I'm doubting who we're playing now. So Bournemouth.
Normally Palace for you,
and they were the last round.
Palace game from 7 seasons
I know I'm
ago.
laughing about this, right? But when I designed the thumbnail for the match preview, right, this is how much I think about Crystal Palace. I was searching for photos of Crystal Palace players. Weren't even playing them. Honestly, I've lost the plot with stuff like this.
I think that's your secret team, Chris. I think really you've got a passion for them.
I fucking hate them, because of that reason. Because I'm always thinking about them. So a couple of more questions based on tomorrow's game. First one from Blue Rhythm Boy that says, I'll start with you, Digger. Do you think Shelby comes back into the starting 11? And if so, does Joe Linton go back on the left?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Blue Rhythm Boy, yeah?
Blue Rhythm Boy.
Are you a guitarist? I just wonder if you get Rhythm Boy. I just wonder. Anyway,
that plays the blues.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Just when he read the name out, I was thinking
that's a boy. That's
the boy. Great. The question. So it's a very good one actually, because right. So I had my heart on my sleeve there, right, and said that Max is going to play, right. But I'm going to be honest here, and what I really think, and I think he'll rest him for the league game. And there is a strong possibility that I think Shelby will start. So I'll answer that question first of all. I think Shelby will start. And if that is the case, you'll have, I think Joe Linton may well go out wide.
If that's the case, so
I think Elliot Anderson
go.
Oh, well, Max? No, I'm saying Maxi won't play.
If he doesn't play,
that's what I'm saying. And my heart, my sleeve saying I want him to play because I want him to get minutes in the belt. I'd love him to score on Tuesday, all the rest of it. But I think if he has got any kind of issue, he'd rather keep him for the weekend for the league. So Joe Linton may well go out wide left, and then Shelby. I think Shelby will come in.
If you're looking at the middle of the field as well, Mark, we've got a few options there. You've got Willock, Shelby,
Longstaff obviously played further forward
Anderson.
Of the right of that middle
I don't
three.
think we'll see Bruno. I think we can categorically
100% not.
He's probably maybe on the bench, but you probably.
He's only just came back into training, hasn't he? I think he's
with these nice new boots, which are.
He had them just before the World Cup. I remember him posting a picture of them just before he went.
Dan got headbutted. The ones he wore. Yeah, that's style.
But I'd rather see Murphy out on the left than Joe Linton, but there's that possibility. I think between Joe and Little Joe and Big Joe they've done well when they've been out on the left hand, and they've kind of interchanged a little bit between them in the last couple of games.
Excellent one. Yeah. I can't remember now, but he was brilliant when he went out wide left. Really good.
It was the last two games before
it was the last couple of games. I think,
Chelsea. So we played Chelsea, which was a tough one.
But yeah, I think obviously Shelby came back and he's played a couple of games now. He played over in Saudi Arabia as well. Again, it's just getting him back into fitness and getting him back into the team. And
I want to see more Willock. I was impressed by Willock at the weekend. A lot of people were criticizing that in St. James's Park, saying that he looked lost quite a lot of the time. But if you're watching that on the TV,
he often does.
But if you're watching it on the TV, and I always refer to this, but he was making the runs like similar to what Cisse was doing on the last man, waiting to break, and the ball just wasn't coming.
Yeah,
and that's why he was getting frustrated, because he was kicking off at how many times we're losing the ball, getting dispossessed, and just passes going nowhere. He was getting frustrated, and I can understand if you're watching at a certain point at St. James's Park, you probably won't see everything else which is happening around him. But I think there's a really good player there with Willock.
No, 100%.
I think it really is.
I think he's been absolutely brilliant. You look at the last league game we had, he scored an absolute belter against Chelsea and got with the 3 points. Like there's no problems with Willock at all. And you know how loves Willock, because he plays every game.
Yeah.
Every game Willock plays.
And even Longstaff, we've seen Longstaff recently as well, and he's getting better and better.
He looked, I thought he played well at the weekend, and obviously in that more advanced role, because he has been playing in that deeper role up until the recent few games where him and Bruno then swapped, and Bruno started sitting deeper and freeing Longstaff up on there.
He's limited in his Longstaff. Let's just be very fair.
Yeah,
he worked.
You know what you're going to get from.
Yeah, you are. And I think you'll always get a 7 out of 10 constantly. And sometimes you might get an 8 or 9.
Great.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it was
tight angle.
It was, and I've got nothing against Longstaff. It's just it's a little bit limited, isn't he? Like there's certain times you get the ball and you're like shit, like because you just know that
he's still a little bit slow on the ball, isn't he? That
touch might not be
a little bit laboured, and I think I think that was part of the problem on Saturdays, because you had Shelby, who again likes to hold on the ball and is a little bit laboured with his passing. Longstaff the same, and I think that's maybe why
I don't think they complement each other.
Willock kind of struggled a little bit. Having them two in again, it's going back to like when we used to have Shelby and Hayden, or Hayden and Longstaff. It was that same kind of relationship of just everything being really slow and laboured in the midfield, of not being able to then pick a pass and move.
Well, we mentioned this at the Palace game, didn't we? When we went to the Palace, the Cup game, and obviously the changes. A lot of the team was very much the old team.
Yeah,
and the performance matched that in many ways. It was like, we're back to where we were. And it, that's what makes it tough. But
it happens over that many changes.
It
does, because you lose that chemistry between the team that, like I said earlier on, that we're so used to seeing.
And you're taking someone like Bruno out of the team. I mean, Christ almighty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want
you can't replace him with many people.
You can't, what I mean? So it's difficult.
Next question. This one is from Callum Lewis, who is a member. So thanks, Callum. He says, "Who's your back four tomorrow?" So I don't think Fabian's back yet. I think he's one of the players that's not back.
I don't know if I've seen him in training. I can't recall.
So if that's the case,
you'd expect him to be back though now, because Bruno's back as well.
So possibly, but he played a couple of days after Bruno, didn't he? I'm sure his game was after Bruno's for Brazil.
The next day?
I can't remember. But I'm pretty confident he's not back
that
yet.
far apart.
So if that is the case, we saw Lascelles start in the friendly, who once again I'm not convinced by. And he was alongside Botman, who once again absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Who do you think will be the centre back partnership?
I think it'll be them two.
Do you think?
And I think Byrne will come in at left back
over Target.
Yeah,
really.
I think as much as I like Target, I think, though I'm saying that, I think Byrne will play if Trippier plays on the right, because I think that's the key to allowing Trippier to get up further up the pitch in attack, because when Botman plays, when Dan Byrne plays at left back, when we're in that transition, it comes across and they go to a back three, which just gives us that cover at the back to allow Trippier to get up the pitch. But I fully expected Trippier to go off at the weekend, because he took a bit of a one to his groin in the second half, and it looked bad at the time.
They played on them.
But he came straight back on and continued to go, which I was screaming, just bloody get him off the pitch, because you didn't want to risk him. So that's he might rest Trippier and just look ahead. And
who's your player there? That's
the only option's Manquillo, isn't it? Really.
So Manquillo played in the game in Saudi Arabia, didn't he?
Yeah,
right back. But for me, Decker, I'm not sure if you agree, but if everybody's available, you field your starting 11, your strongest team.
You do, yeah. No, I'm more for that. Listen, we've as fans,
we've got a week to well, not quite a week, but almost a week till your next league game.
Yeah,
we bang the drum wanting to attack these things and play the best team that we can. And let's be very honest, we've done that before. We got beat off Cambridge at home, and we played the best we had in Trippier's first game. But I do believe that if Trippier's okay, which clearly he is, I think it'll be that. And I agree with Mark completely that he'll play the back four. That other than Shea, I think the Cells will play alongside Botman and then Burn at left back. I really do. And if that was to change, I don't think he'll play Botman and Burn there. I still think the Cells will play. It might be a flick of a coin if it was Botman or Burn to the left of the Cells. But I agree with Mark. I think it'll be that back four.
Okay. I'll be shocked not to see Target at left back.
All right.
Because I don't think he's going to get his chance in the Premier League very often with Burn playing so well in that position. I think Eddie Howe will probably like to keep the positivity there in the dressing room, and Target hasn't really had many chances this season.
He hasn't, no. But to reference Mark's point, and this is something I've mentioned a lot about Trippier, just how advanced Trippier is, how advanced he is can Target fill in and then be a third centre half? And hey, listen, maybe against Bournemouth in their opposition, their attacking force, how might think it is the case, but definitely that's why Burns started so many games left back, is because it gives Trippier so much license to go forward, and he then comes across and they become a three.
Dan Whitten, it brings up a great point. And he says, issue isn't the next league game, but it's the one after, just coming a couple of days after.
Yeah.
So obviously, quick succession. You've got Leicester than Leeds. But we've done it before. We were shocked that Eddie Howe kept the same team when we went through. We were playing every other day. It felt like at one point.
And that's the key thing of having these three friendlies and playing to a decent standard in them is getting that sharpness so that you can get straight back into it, because we're kind of lucky that we're in the position where we are of not having loads of players away on international duty. When you look around at the rest of the top 5, 6, like half of their teams have been out and away to the World Cup.
We're like how you said the rest.
We're not at that. We're not at that level yet where you're getting the majority of your team going away to either play in the World Cup or be in the squads. So that gives us a bit of an advantage where we're getting them back pretty much straight away. We're getting them back into training. So, and we've got this as a game to be able to just to help with that fitness and sharpness, and which I can only see benefiting us against Leicester and then Leeds on New Year's Day. But the fact that, as I say, we've got almost a week between this game on Tuesday night and then the game on Boxing Day, I think will allow us to play a pretty much full strength team.
Decker, do you think that we will see Wilson? Because Eddie Howe has been keeping his cards close to his chest. He really has. I know that he said he's fine today and isn't an issue. Are you believing that line? You never know with Wilson.
It's tough, isn't it? No, you don't. And I think Wilson's one of the players that we all worry about, don't we? I mean, just goes to ground and you worry that you think, God, could this be it? Because you know his track record. I think the England was quite worrying. I think when he wasn't getting. I mean, everyone, you go on social media, Wilson should have come on when he did a goal. But then you read that he never even trained all week. There's no way Southgate was going to bring him on.
Why am I on the bench then?
Well, everyone's on the bench. Like, it's just, that's what it is. You don't name a bench. It just is, that's your bench. It's everyone that comes on the plane, basically. But anyway. I think, listen, I'm going to take Howe for his word. I'll take Howe for his word and I'll say, yes, he'll not play Tuesday, by the way.
Yeah.
But maybe on the Leicester game, possibly. But I don't know. I read the comments that he was on about Wood, about really praising Wood, praising him, how important he is, and tactically he's brilliant for him, blah, blah, blah. It did sound and read to me that very much like, me eggs are in this basket for now, actually.
That's me starter.
Yeah. Which, that's fine, isn't it? We all know, listen, you probably ask Chris Wood. Chris Wood isn't Wilson, right? And we know that.
Yeah.
And we've seen that firsthand. But, if that's what we have, then that's what we have to do.
So Grant Marshall follows it, Mark, saying that I don't believe anything Eddie Howe says about injuries. Because we have seen, what was it, Isaac that was going to be out for 2 weeks. St. Maximum.
Everybody's going to be out for 2 weeks. So they've got a little knock and then it turns into months and months
down the line. It's still 2 weeks away. It's still 2 weeks away.
And to be fair, doing that puts a lot on the player.
Yeah.
Especially on Maxi's corner, because they're like saying, oh, he's 2 weeks away, and then they'll ask the same question again. Oh, well, actually, he's 2 weeks away. And then straight away, everyone's like, oh, well, no, he's broke down again. You know, they do, right? That's what it is. And Isak's been a disaster for him. It's been a disaster for him. It really, really has. And I'll go back to what I said when we first signed him when he got injured. The lucky situation where you've got a guy you've paid a lot of money for, and he's come from a different country, trying to settle in, he gets injured early. It's a fucking killer.
It's not great for the player. And
for the player. Forget
mental health and everything. He's away from the team and stuff.
It's the player. Yeah. It's really hard that, you know.
You lose that embedding period, don't you?
Massively. And you think how well he started against Liverpool. I didn't care what anyone said. He scored 2 goals, in my opinion.
He did 100% score 2 goals.
And like, we thought, Jesus Christ, he's got the best striker ever. I mean, he's not going to play like that every week, but it's just shit. It's just shit. But sorry, I apologise. I interrupted there. But you asked him a question. Sorry.
I can't remember what I was asking you.
Well, it was about. I think he didn't believe Eddie Howe.
I didn't believe Eddie Howe's. When he mentioned injuries.
What's your opinion on that then? Because I've just said literally a minute ago, I actually believe Howe in that regard. Maybe I'm full of shit. Probably am.
No, I think he just. He does play a lot of gamesmanship with his interviews, doesn't he? And he keeps his cards close to his chest. So it could be one of those ones where he doesn't want to give too much away around Saint and, you know, Wilson as well. I think even if Wilson had have been fit, you wouldn't have seen him tomorrow night anyway. You'd be looking to keep him for the league games that we've got coming up. Do you put him on the
bench with the possibility that it could go to penalties?
Well, when you look back at where last cup game and some of the standard of some of the penalties that were in there, then you'd look to want to have a decent penalty taker on the bench, wouldn't you? But
I would trust Pope, you know, against many. He's so big, man. He just fills that goal. Yeah. It'd be sheer dread as an opposition player. Yeah, putting the ball down, looking, fucking hell, where are you going to put it?
It's very, very much like we're seeing in the World Cup final yesterday, when the difference between the two keepers. Martinez absolutely filled his
absolutely
goal.
Shocking. Yeah. He could have saved a couple of those.
Mad, isn't it? Like how many just seemed to go through
just under him or like under his feet.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was odd. But yeah, I think that is a big thing, is your keepers, the size of them. Like, because when you look at a professional goal, it's massive. It's absolutely huge. But then you stick him in it, and it suddenly becomes tiny.
The thing is, we saw it in the World Cup as well, that angle of the camera that they show behind the penalty taker. Like you look at it, you're thinking, shit, that's not as open as what you think it's going to be.
I 100% agree. Honestly, and if you got Pope standing there, I honestly think if you put the ball and look and go, fuck, where am I going to put it? Because he's so big. He's big. You know, he's so big, and that you know, listen, it's all about that's where Martinez was great, kicking the ball away, just wasting that little bit of time. Krul was a wanker. Remember on Krul?
He's a tosser, though.
He's
an absolute tosser.
Shithousery, man.
But when he's your own, it's fine. You know, it's when he's doing it.
That photo with the glove as well, pretending it's his cock.
It was mad that way.
Let's not worry about penalties, though.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
Get it done in 90.
Let's think we'll get it done in 90.
Well, we're saying let's not worry about penalties, but the next question is about a penalty. So this one is from our very own Scott, Gallowgateshots Scott. Deck, I'll come to you. So he's given us a scenario. He said, so just imagine this, Decker. He says, it's the 90th minute of the EFL Cup final. It's 0-0. Wood, Wilson, and Isak are all on the pitch, and Newcastle get a penalty. Who takes it?
Yeah, Callum.
Wilson?
Yeah, 100%.
Even though Wood absolutely buried his.
Oh, listen, Wood's been brilliant every time he stepped up forward. Yeah. No, I think Callum's were number one. Do you know what it is? That's why I love him as much as I do, actually, because his ego, like, he'd want to take it as well. Yeah. That's what I think's a huge thing with him. But yeah, for me, I would say if they were all on the pitch at the same time, he is our number one. He is our guy, like, in my opinion.
Mark? Can I substitute them and bring Shola down out of the stand?
So Shola only missed one professional penalty in his life, and that was when he played for Bolton, I want to say.
Oh, that doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Mind you, he was amazing at the money.
Oh, aye.
Amazing. That one against Sunderland was one of the best ever.
Absolutely effortless for Shola as well.
Yeah, that's
side netting.
See, that's the thing is, like, I'd pick Wilson as well, but I'd looking at the three of them, I'd think if I had to pick one to miss, I think Wilson would probably miss one as well.
Really?
Which is like weird.
Oh, if I'm picking one to miss, I think it'll be Isak.
Yeah, I'd probably.
I don't know the penalties that he.
I know, but it's. just the age and experience sort of thing. I think Wilson has the confidence there,
Yeah.
and Wilson won't let anybody else take it anyway.
No,
He
no,
wouldn't,
no.
he
no.
wouldn't, right? He wouldn't,
He's your main man, isn't he? But
He would.
Will Wood's penalty on the weekend was,
That's brilliant.
and even his last one that he took for was cracking as well.
Yeah, all right.
He's just no. It's an old-fashioned penalty taker. He just
It is. I mean,
picks his spot and he puts it away with power.
I just want to mention the greatest Messi yesterday. Like, fuck me, that penalty he took yesterday, and that pressure that he was under on that penalty shootout to do that. I just find that unbelievably funny.
It's the same penalty as Maradona as well.
So
It's like,
Dan Whitten says, I recall us drawing 1-1 with the Mackhams. We got a pen, but Barr wanted to take it ahead of Shola. Naturally, he missed. And it wasn't long after that Shola scored, didn't he? So he missed a
That's
penalty.
right, yeah.
Sunderland was still 1-0. Then Shola scored.
Right the last minute, that was back post. I should have saved it, but yeah. I remember that. God, we fucking battered them as well, you know. Battered them.
Mate,
I'd never seen the ball,
and lost the game
because it was the other end of the field. I'd never seen the ball the full game. It was
like that one at the Stadium of Light as well, where I don't know, it was Gian just knocks it in with his chest. It just
that was
off his chest.
or some shit, or whatever it was. Aye. That was
See that like
the sideline,
when it was the FA Cup draw the other week, and everybody's like praying for Sunderland to come out. I was like, no, I never ever,
mate,
ever want to play them again.
How nervous were you nervous?
I don't want to play them. I hate them. I don't want to have to face them.
I swear to God, right? So I was watching it as you were. You know, you've got the ticker on the side there. You know, like all the
watching the names, names go down. The
and
numbers.
I'm sitting there. I was on it, sitting near by that cock out near issues, right? And then, goodness Lord, all of a sudden,
I think it was about 6 teams left, wasn't it? There was us in there.
And
I'm like,
I stood up, marching around. No, like no, and then we just missed him. And I shouldn't feel like that's ridiculous, really, but I only feel how I felt. I was absolutely shit.
I'd quite happily never, ever, ever play them ever again.
Yeah.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
I love Derby days, but I hated Derby days. I hated, I loved everything around
It's a horrible feeling.
But I just...
It's a horrible
feeling.
The
only way I'd like them is if you told we would win. Like you said, oh no, I know we've won that. Okay, bring them on then. But I can't deal with it. It's terrible. It's a terrible day.
Right, boys, I'm gonna wrap it up on that one because we have another podcast to record. So somebody mentioned earlier on, I'm not sure who it was, it might have been Fish and Rods, that says, did I hear you right that you're recording a Christmas special? Yes, we are. He also said, does it mean that you are getting drunk? Decker might be. Decker's got cans with him.
I've got the car.
Decker and Christmas specials and alcohol do not go well.
To be fair, it was meant to be tonight, was my night out, but it's moved to tomorrow. But the last one, I was just mortal. Is that the one when we're talking kebab and that now? So you close my eyes.
It was when we're in the Ashley pub.
That was actually a long time ago.
When you walked in, you're wearing that white jumper, you walked in and your eyes just had like a glaze over them. And I thought, this is going to be great. This.
I was fucked. Mind you, I've had 2 cans and I'm rocking and rolling already. I can't handle it anymore. You know?
But yeah, if you want more Christmas content as well, we have the tiers, the Christmas tiers, which was movies we've done. We'll also have done songs. So there's a couple of Christmas episodes in the back catalogue as well. So if
because that was like during
the
COVID days,
during lockdown.
Yeah, we did a lot then as well. It was good. That was great.
It was during lockdown.
Really good.
OG lockdown.
So I look back at
I remember. Can you remember the cabin one? The cabin thing. Sorry, you were going to say
I watched it back. Well, I didn't watch it all, but I look at key moments in it, and we recorded that for 2.5 hours.
Did we?
2.5 hours. And yeah, so Mark failed to describe what National Lampoon's Christmas. You forgot that he was convinced it was a different film at one point. They were trying to convince us we were watching the wrong movie.
That was it. Yeah. They can't have a log cabin in
I was getting the Christmas one and the vacation one like combined into one film, wasn't it?
You said that, and obviously, if you look back at it, everybody, you see mine and Bessie's face, just like we'll get like an inquisitive moment on my face, and I go, that's not what happens. And Bessie goes, nah, it's not. Then you're gone. You're howling at this point.
2 hours of drinking.
I don't think you'd seen it, had you?
No, I hadn't seen it. No, but it was just so funny because only you would do that, you know. Only you would do it.
You stop everybody in the tracks and you go, hang on. Let's get it. You go, Bestie, is what he's saying happens? And he goes, nah, not at all.
Unbelievable. That was great.
And to be fair, we aren't going to get into the debate of if Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
It is. Simple as that. It absolutely is.
Right, thanks
100%.
everybody. The Christmas special should probably be going out on Christmas Eve. It'll probably go to members first. So if you want to grab that first of all, become a member. It's $2.99 a month. Mark, do you want to say your line about like the videos?
No, unless you tell me Die Hard's a Christmas film.
We will see yous all next time.
Like the video if you think Die Hard is a Christmas film.
Don't, because
In the comments now, is Die Hard a Christmas film?
So the first one says no. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Telegram's got my back here.